Okay, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about recording your stats. Um, the reason why that's important, I'll give you an example. If you're, let's say you bought a call or you sold a put, right? And you should know what they are by now, those things. Um, let's just have a look at one here. I think I've got one on standby there. So, this is a put here. Actually, you've got too many things going on here. Let's go just to these ones. So, this is an iron condor, right? Where you use a poor man's, you sell a poor man's call. So, you're getting money for this one, and you're buying protection with this one, right? The same thing, you're selling a poor man's put and you're buying protection with that. And it looks like a big bird with wings, a condor. Iron because it's rigid, you see. Now, when you buy that, well, in this one, looks like you would get $750 credit, you see. Now, the reason why I say keep your own stats, because this will fluctuate. Like when you put this through, or when you put orders through, their value will fluctuate. So at any 1 minute, you won't necessarily know the value. I mean, if you sell something, fair enough, you know you got so much for it. Like if you sold this, you know you got 750 for it. But if you have to change it or modify, like if this price starts to move over here, this strike price moves towards there, when it starts to get close, you might say, you know what, I might move these out. And so you might change these further out, you see, like that. Undo. But you get the point. You'd move them out. Now that's if this was already, and the way you'd move them out, you'd buy these, you'd buy and sell these back, and then buy and sell further out. You see. Now if you start doing that, then it becomes harder to know, am I in front or behind? You see. So most platforms, well, all platforms, will have, um, you'll be able to download your transactions, right? So if I go to history, for instance, on this one, these are like transactions for the last 30 days, for instance, right? And usually you can set the days. I usually do it weekly. So weekly, I'll come in and download the transactions for the week. And then if I click this button here, um, CSV, it'll give me like a spreadsheet of the transactions, right? And you save that. And I'll show you what it looks like over here. If I go there and there, stats. So here's an example of what that would look like. So you'd get all your the date, the trade, what happened, etc., 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 etc. Right? Now, what I recommend is you take your weekly spreadsheets and pull out the data that's important to you that you want to track. So, for instance, you might want to track, and if you don't know how to make spreadsheets, I definitely recommend it as a course, how to use data in spreadsheets, because it will help you stay on top of your trading and your changes and what's working and what's not working, right? So, for instance, I can sort this column here by This is Amazon, then ANET, ATVI, BlackRock, Hershey, etc. Right? And then on my own spreadsheet, I would have all the ATVI debits and credits. So I know if I'm in front or behind, or if it's bad or good, you see. Same with Amazon. I have all the debits and credits. So if, let's say Amazon was in an iron condor, just like that. And let's say I had to change the ends on it because the price is getting too close. I'm worried about it. Then I'd have to buy and sell those. But then on this screen here, I might have difficulty. I mean, if you get familiar with the platforms, you can look at chains, and then you can start working out if you're ahead or behind from the chain. But still, especially when you're starting, well, actually all the time, well, especially when you're starting, but as you become more proficient, even more so, you start to track even more of the data. So yeah, you'll discover what works and doesn't work for you, and but you'll need to track it. And so you've got to work out, you've got to learn how to pull data from what you've done. And for instance, I'll have totals of all the equities that I'm in. I'll know exactly how much I'm ahead or behind for each equity, you see, for each option, you see, or each, well, equity, yeah. Equity, is that right? Let's call it a ticker. This is a ticker symbol. These symbols are called tickers. They represent a stock or an index, whatever you're trading options on. So learn to do that. I highly recommend it. And from that, you can gradually work out what's working, what's not working, which one's returning more money. Is it SPY? Is it Microsoft? Am I doing really well with my BlackRock strategies? So yeah, there you go. That's my lesson for today. Thanks. Oh, and just another thing. Um, I know that when people first start trading, they either get really good results straight away and then crash, and then you'll never hear from them again, and they'll just give up. Or you don't get any results and you think, there's not much in this for me, can't be bothered. Either way, both ways are wrong. There is something in it for you, but you've got to keep learning. It does take time. Keep learning, keep tracking. Just do it bit by bit as a hobby if you haven't got time, or a project on the side, but just try and build something steadily and keep learning. I'm finding that just the more I learn, the more control I get over what I'm trading, and the more I understand, the more I can use indicators to help me, etc. But this is definitely a starter. You've got to learn to create your own spreadsheet. So this is the raw data, but my actual spreadsheet will look much simpler than this. It will just, from this spreadsheet, I'll pull the tickers, and then I'll pull the debits and credits, for instance, to get an overall credit or debit total. Because I don't need all these other bits and pieces. They're not really relevant to know how I'm tracking. So yeah, there you go. Thanks again.